Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble, on the blogger site, and on Patreon for access support and any kind of updates and as such. Usually I go about on Twitter X, usually regarding live streams, which is again, uh, as I mentioned in previous videos throughout this week, it's a little bit jumbled, the schedule for me to do everything on the channel, mainly because of the workload that I've been having lately. It's been a little bit too much for me to handle everything. Hopefully next week I will have a more calmer week, so I can properly dive into wrapping up the Star Wars Jedi Survivor gameplay series, introduce Midnight Suns, and continue with my live stream scheduling there. Other than that, basically, it's what I got to say regarding channel updates. When hopefully the next week will improve. And of course, as always, this is my hobby, and I have like a complete. I don't have a work schedule given that I am a freelancer. That's why from time to time this might happen. I have to interrupt certain things because I really don't have time to dive deep and continue with the scheduled program, at least the one that I want to have. So let's go to the news. We got new AMD Radeon Adrenalin driver here. Again, got some game support. Kunitsugami. This seems to be a decent game here. I covered this. I'm not sure who is publishing this. Bandai Namco, if not mistaken. This seems to be a pretty good game. It's kind of turn-based, but it's the story and the game gameplay mechanics, sorry, that seem to be interesting there. We got some expanded hypertune and some anti-lag version 2 this time for Dota 2. Again, I'm not sure. I don't use anti-lag for the games that I use. It's not something that I really need to have. But I will assume that the like the things with Counter-Strike stuff with the server pings and the things, because of the how anti-lag worked before, I think now this is basically it's have to be kind of case by case scenario, the support for the anti-lag, but I think they are patching through everything there. And then we got a lot of fixed issues, still some known issues. Still with Battlefield to 2042, even though I don't think a lot of people play, but then again, it's a non-issue still. And we still have the audio and video may intimately become our sync while recording AV1 codec in AMD software, so using their own software, you might get some stuff here. I use OBS, I never had so far any issues with this, so yeah. It's out. Again, more support for a lot of stuff that comes out. Usually, again, I don't see any kind of huge issues of like download now or else you cannot play anything. Again, there's not been a lot of like big issues with the driver so far, at least from the games that I've been covering. But yeah, it's out. So you are if when you need you can download it. Continue with AMD. Similarly, again, this is a huge rumor, mainly because the source is supposedly a screenshot of some text messages exchanged, supposedly between a worker on a retailer. I'm not sure which retailer. I completely forgot to. Oh my god, I didn't highlight this article, but I read it. Best Buy, from Best Buy. Suppose this is an employee inside. Similarly, they have already the CPUs in stock there, even though they have plenty of 9700 and 9900X. They don't have a lot of the lower or the highest end there. Kind of makes a little bit sense there. Again, the stock can depend depending on I don't know, depending on the retailer there. But supposedly the placeholder, let's say, price, at least the internal information that supposedly they have in Best Buy for that specific location, at least, coming from the highest to lowest is $499, $399, $299, and $2030, give or take it. But again, this, I don't think this is the current pricing, even though if it is, it's good news. if this is the real price, but again, we don't have official information. But again, this is very low pricing compared to the MSRP that launched with the 7000 series CPUs. But then again, we have to take in consideration the current market of CPUs. Again, take it with a huge spoon, bucket of salt. But yeah, at least we might have some indication if this information is real, that the guy is seems to be what it is. We might have an indication that probably AMD is going to try to be quite aggressive with the launch of this 9000 series Zen 5 CPUs, probably to try to capture or take a little bit advantage of being competitive with the current high, especially on the higher side. But I think they are trying to compete with the Intel CPUs. I don't know, to try to remove more market out of them. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see for official MSRPs from AMD. But again, we can take this like a sign of kind of roundabouts of the prices of the CPUs, but this might be completely bogus information. We might have the same kind of MSRPs around of the 7000 series. Again, the fact that the 7000 series already launched around almost a year and something, and some changes at least, we might get some aggressive pricing there. I'm not sure. Again, a lot of the depends. I don't know, because after this you have the 3D cache stuff. If you price this ones too high, then they might feel compelled to price the 3D cache versions of the CPUs a little bit higher still. I'm not sure. I think they still want to capture some AM4 reticent people that didn't manage to get around and made the jump to AM5 platform. I'm not sure if it is something that they are taking consideration there, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Again, this is very huge rumor, so take it with a huge grain of salt there. Regarding yesterday's, and again, yesterday I talked about it. This will be this Crowdstrike stuff there. It's very sus, very suspicious. Especially then I read some more articles, watched some videos of kind of opinion people, some of them more IT experts than others, and yeah, very suspicious that basically one of the main things is this update was launched on a Friday, because usually when this kind of launch of stuff here, usually for corporations especially, you usually don't launch this kind of product updates on the Friday, mainly because if there is some troubleshooting to be made with certain partners or certain companies, you might want to do it throughout the week where people are there, instead of on a weekend when usually a lot of the office work people, like IT support and everything, usually it tends to be very lower. Usually during the weekends, on the off days, you have to usually have like just like a skeleton crew. And yeah, this is very suspicious, the timing of the launch, and given it it's like kind of middle of the month, unless it was supposedly a critical update that they supposedly needed to do and launch. But yeah, even the response is completely bonkers. It's not the again, I understand trying to minimize the things here, but the way this was affected in all kind of industries throughout the world. Again, these people live in a bubble. I don't think it's like a huge deal, because again, I will assume it doesn't affect too much their lives in immediate impact there. But yeah, a lot of industries, yeah, they are still trying to recover. A lot of businesses there. Again, I will assume like emergency services, to a certain degree, transportation services, banking stuff there. They went to full throttle to try to recover from this situation. But yeah, still, yeah, this is very suspicious. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see for more information. Try not to jump into conclusions out of nowhere. But yeah, it's usually not something that companies usually do when at this kind of scale, when they have this kind of customers base. Usually don't do this on a Friday. To just in case of any kind of situation to something went wrong, or kind of any kind of troubleshooting to this during the weekend doesn't make a lot of sense, even business wise, because then you have to pay usually overtime to employees, which in case of something happens. Yeah. And I will assume some companies just shut down. Again, a lot of loss of money, because also banking system didn't work in a lot of places. Yeah, this is not good. It's even hard to imagine the impact and the scale of this. Um, it's a lot, and this one of my main takes is the monopolies on how and the lack of competition on the market, and the fact that again the acquisition and merging and mentality that these companies have. um, yeah, it shows the weakness, because it's kind of a Goliath, David and Goliath kind of a thing there, which just a simple patch of update, which is supposedly routine thing, just crippled the entire economy of the world. I will assume some countries were less affected than others, but given that we are in an interconnected economy, again, this is huge. It's a huge deal, and we will see repercussions throughout the months to come regarding this situation. Again, I will assume that CrowdStrike, even though they were not affected that much in terms of their stock price, and everything just went down 11%, give or take, but then gained roughly 3%. I'm not sure if we have to see a little bit more the same way that we saw. I don't like to talk too much about this. The assassination attempt with the former President Trump. There is some signs. No, there is some proof that somebody tried to short the the um, the his company, his media company, uh, like like a huge trying to short those stocks there, which is usually something when this kind of huge stuff happens. There might be some signs, which is follow the money. I don't know if somebody tried to short CrowdStrike or something like that to try to make a financial move. I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be asked here because of how it's the timing. Usually it's a little bit on the timing there. But yeah, there is still a lot of companies that going to be throughout this week, upcoming week, trying to recover from this, because again, not all companies have dedicated IT departments that can solve this situation, and the fact that you have to be locally to resolve this situation in each terminal. And usually, if things go well, you might in 5 minutes you might able to solve this issue, but usually it can take around half an hour sometimes, because some terminals, for example, don't you have to turn off the machine, connect peripherals, make the troubleshooting. Probably you cannot make it at the first or second try. Depends a lot of if any kind of terminals was screwed up, with the fact that this kind of the death loop, boot loop that it happens might screw up with hard drive. It's a possibility. Again, a lot of variants there, and we will see a lot of companies going to ask for refunds and for some severance regarding this situation to CrowdStrike. This is going to be very, very, very tough. But yeah, as you can see here, from banking service, rail networks, automotive supply chains, airlines, media, again, all kind of services were completely shut down, basically, for at least for extended period of time, at least 6 to 8 hours, give or take, in average. Again, then depends a little bit on how quick and how agile some companies were, but given that a lot of these things affected server stuff there, so even if you locally can solve an issue, the mainframe that that service is dependent on, is if it is completely screwed, regardless, it's not going to work anything. But yeah, the fact that the Microsoft CEO, this little fellow here, um, basically the quote says it released an update that began impacting IT systems globally, and they are providing customers technical guidance and support to safely bring their system back online. Like, there is no thing here. The only thing that supposedly I didn't catch up too much on Twitter yesterday, but supposedly Elon Musk was bashing around all of this. Yeah, again, the outage shows danger behind software being too centralized, as well as exasperation of a CrowdStrike office being empty late in the evening after the outage became because of remote work there. But yeah, supposedly Elon Musk already had deleted CrowdStrike from all his systems, so this had give me the sense that when he take over Twitter, I will assume he just phased out CrowdStrike out of all the systems there from from his companies there. I don't know, that there is no detailed information about it, but yeah, the reaction was not good. I watched the video of the first time that the CEO of CrowdStrike made some official comments. I watched it on YouTube, I think, or it was NBC News or some ABC News. I'm not sure the channel there. Yeah, even him just didn't know very well what to say. And as a remark, I watch on news. This guy was vice something, was a higher up on McAfee company there with John McAfee, the guy that I think he died. He was vice something there, like a higher up in that company. When like a few years ago, something similar happened, and basically destroyed the company to a certain degree. This guy was kind of responsible for. I'm not sure if it was operational stuff there, but yeah, interesting tidbit there. I think it's on its LinkedIn. I'm not sure if he erased the LinkedIn history there, but I saw some screenshots from the LinkedIn from his profile, and yeah, at the time, interestingly enough, when McAfee has like a similar issue with with their services, like they went bust for something. Yeah, a very similar quickie link there. But yeah, we'll have to wait for more information to come out to see. And even people on the news that are talking about this, they really don't know what they're talking about. And even the IT consultants that they have, that don't know really what they talk about that much. They don't even kind of reflect on the impact that this has. But yeah, we will have to wait for more details regarding this shit show, because yeah, somebody is going to will have to pay for this. And again, as with this happening again, there is already officials warning dangerous scam targeting victims of this historic outage. Sorry, mainly this comes from the Singapore Cyber Emergency Response Team. Warn of wave of phishing scams involving people impersonating CrowdStrike staff in phone calls and emails. Again, I told you this is going to be a ripe field for taking advantage of this situation. As always, scammers they always take these opportunities to go around and try to scam companies. Again, be aware if you have any company. Again, it might be a little bit too late, but again, it's always good to remind everybody that emails regarding CrowdStrike support or trying to impersonate CrowdStrike staff in phone calls, posing as independent researchers claiming to have evidence of something for to go for remediation insights, and even selling script purporting to automate recovery from the content update issue. Again, like kind of informations that have like a super solution. You just need to follow these steps. Sometimes after you reboot, you just need to install this kind of software to make the recovery of the system and update them. Again, this is all scams. The way this works with the thing, it's like over-the-air updates, because the software itself from CrowdStrike has like kernel access, so it's like it's even more than administrative privileges there. It's like on the level of how the nitty-gritty works in terms of the system there. So yeah, don't go about this. Just go directly, contact directly on the sites there. And even with that, you just need to be paying attention on when if you're trying to Google the site there is a lot of these domains that are basically scams. All of this, So pay attention. This is just a rough example of a lot of sites there. So, and yeah, this is going to be just scamming, trying to get access to networks, because this is going to be ripe even for medium companies that might not have a very agile IT support teams there, mainly because they are outsourced to Crowdstrike to a certain degree. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of people getting scammed because they don't know better. They are not very IT literate, so to try to prevent this kind of situations. But yeah, this is going to be a hell of a week following this situation here, because it affects all basically fields of industry and emergency service and all that jazz. But yeah, I will try to keep up with this kind of evolving story to see how this goes. We have some continuation with Ubisoft. Ubisoft, I think, is going to be fucked up this year. I didn't see this. They launched like a gameplay trailer, a 10-minute gameplay video. Again, I didn't see this one yet. I will probably try to check this one. But yeah, already ratioed at the time of the writing of this article here. They are not going to delay because this was so bad, the backlash on this gameplay video, that even internally on earnings calls that they were asking if they're not going to delay to fix the supposedly criticism that was taken to that kind of a video. And of course, the game was already gone gold. They already announced that, so it's not going to be delayed, or there is no reasons to delay this game. It cannot be any kind of major fix that people might be complaining about this, given that the release for the game is August 30th. They cannot do anything major on the game itself until that time. It will not solve anything. They might try to patch something in terms of performance, but yeah, I don't think the performance is going to be a huge issue. Given, I think it's more about the content and the mechanics associated with the game. From the videos, again, I will have to see how it looks. But the videos that I saw here, tidbits here and there. Some mechanics seems interesting, or what they're trying to go for. They seem interesting, but then again, it's a little bit. How do I put it? You have to take the disbelief of the reality of the in which the game is set upon. And I don't think even they been announcing this is going to be the first open world Star Wars, which is not the case. I think they have big areas, but even that, from what I understand, you can supposedly navigate through all the areas of the game in that speeder in 5 to 10 minutes. That's my perception. I'm not sure. I don't know how they went about it, trying to explain that, but yeah, I think this is going to be like areas. I'm not sure if they're even going to be maybe the same kind of areas like in Jedi Survivor, which is like you got a lot of big areas to explore there, here and there. Where you have certain activities going to be very hopefully more detailed stuff, more personalized to a certain extent. But even that, I'm not sure if it's going to be just like a Far Cry kind of clone, Assassin's Creed clone, or something like that, in the sense that you're going to see the gameplay loop there. It's going to be immediately recognizable or not. But yeah, again, I'm not very hopeful for this game, mainly because it's Ubisoft. The character doesn't seem to be any kind of great addition. It's like what they call the Madame Solo. It's a Han Solo wannabe kind of character there. Doesn't play that well. And even the dialogue that I've been seeing, the story-wise, seems okayish, very vague. We don't have enough details to give a proper feedback there. But yeah, from the footage that's been coming out, people are not liking that much. Again, I'm very neutral. It's not something that I'm interested to play. I think the Jedi from the EA games, the duology there seems to be pretty okayish. In terms, they don't try to do overcomplicate things or trying to go about doing things in a very overtly way of trying to disrupt um, the lore and the stuff. Even though, again, some characters there are put there as kind of almost a selling point on the game, but yeah, I don't see, they don't try to screw up too much the lore, and they provide a decent enough experience for an average Star Wars fan there. But yeah, this one I don't think is going to work out very well, and the fact that how they going about things with other games like Assassin's Creed Shadows and the stuff, it's always tarnished the brand as a whole, as a publisher, because it starts to affect the other IPs, the way they try to message stuff. And then, as you know, if you have a brand which has different kind of IPs, if it's the brand is tarnished, or the company is tarnished from their, especially with their messaging, it spills over to other IPs. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And the fact that also they are doubling down on acronym mafia stuff there, it's always a little bit sketchy. But I was talking about the Assassin's Creed Shadows, and again, this is escalating quite interesting in Japan. We got now a Japanese political aide indicating that the backlash of this game could escalate to diplomatic incidents here. Again, could, and again, this has to do a lot with translation. I'm not sure if diplomatic incident might be the best term to describe this, but again, we have to take it with a grain of salt, everything here. But yeah, this is escalating regardless. Because this guy, which is a Japanese political aide, again, they have to a certain degree some kind of influence. It has detailed that the game and its false depiction of Japanese history, culture, and aesthetics, primarily revolving around the depiction of Yasuke as a legendary samurai, could result in diplomatic incidents. And then this same guy said letters are being sent with questions to the Japan Ministry of Education, Culture, Sport, Science and Technology, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. This is ramping up inside the government there, questioning this game, which is not good. And while the government has not taken action yet, they are waiting for final release of the game to decide, and there is mounting pressure in Japan to address the issue with Ubisoft portraying false information to Japanese children. Again, this they take their stuff very seriously, especially culture-wise, and with specific time periods of them, of their culture. They usually take it very seriously. Again, they are on their own right to do so. I don't have anything to say about it, good or bad. It's something that as a country, as a people, they have the right to decide these kind of things. But the fact that it reached this point has to do with a lot of compounding effects. Again, they start off by the problem is not that the game is trying to be being portrayed as a work of fiction, like a what if scenario kind of a thing here. The problem is Ubisoft is being doubling, triple, and quadruple down, and everybody associated with this game and everybody that wants to ramp up this game is trying to pass the idea that this is a very accurate depiction of history as it happened. That is the major issue. And when you have this kind of stamp of approval, or trying to stamp this as like proven history, especially on the country that is very especially at this period of time when the story supposedly happened, when they were basically closed off to the world. They were very nationalistic as an identity there at the time. I don't think it's a good idea to try to rewrite history with fictional proposals of what supposedly happened. But yeah, and the fact that then they try to have this guy Lockley, which was an associate professor of foreign language, faculty of law, Nihon University, that wrote a book about Yasuke stories, which is created from his own imagination and spread the contents of the book as historical fact all over the world. And the fact that, he basically, I think when he wrote the book, he tried to make a fable out of this. to a certain degree. He took a lot of liberties of interpreting certain things and exaggerations. And the fact that afterwards he was caught trying to sell his book through just or promote his book by changing Wikipedia pages, and as a reference point, like a trusted source to basically as his book to for that source of information there. It's kind of a promotion, and the fact that he used that by with anonymous accounts and with fake usernames there, it's a whole different story there also. And then the fact that, again, the fact that Ubisoft used his book as like a reference point and as proof that the history happened like that, this kind of compounding effects is what's basically leading to this. And the fact that we have a lot of activists that they just wanted that Yasuke now because he's a black samurai, supposedly now it's a gay guy again. Imagine that. But yeah. Um, and this is basically the one of the questions that they have been asking for to deliberate in these kind of questions. They are basically throw this to the government to ponder on these kind of questions. Also, Assassin's Creed Shadows, a new game being developed by the French company Ubisoft, set in the Sengoku period of Japan, in Yasuke appears as the main character. The game company has been taken over by people of the political correctness movement, and from the pre-release interview footage, the disrespect for Japan is blatant. The content of the game that has been partially released has also been distorted and grossly disrespectful of Japanese culture, history, and Japanese people. Continuing. For example, in an interview, a person in charge of the grotesque decapitation scene said death was a common occurrence in Japan at the time, and most people die by having their heads nearly cut off. Yeah, because then everything that supposedly happens in the game should be taken by the word as historical representation of what really happened at that time period. And then you enter in this kind of fallacies of trying to make it like a common occurrence in Japan that everybody was being cutting off heads all over the place. I don't know why, because it was getting it's getting in style. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff here. Plus all the facts that the DI stuff there. Again, it's a lot of stuff here. And it continues. If it were a game made by a private company, there would be no need to be so concerned. But it has been announced that this was based on Japanese historical facts. That's the main crux of the thing. And if it goes viral, people all over the world will start to believe it again, which is, I think, is extremely malicious. In the fact, following the message be released, and again, and this because they're concerned about this, because we're already starting to see this spill out, and it's not from now, it's from last year. The Brazilian embassy in Japan publicly announced on Facebook that Yasuke was the first for Japan's first black samurai, that Yasuke was brought to Japan and 1579 became a hero. And we got here the Facebook post. Again, this Portuguese is my main language. It's Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, but it's Portuguese nonetheless. Usually the difference between Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese is like speaking with a British or writing as a British and American differences. There is the same thing. And yeah, this is basically a very competent translation here, which is Japan competes in the Brazilian Carnival Samba team in Mocidade Alegre, which is the team there of the carnival there, was chosen as champions in 2023 São Paulo Carnival. The team held a parade telling the story of Japan's first black Yasuke. Yasuke, born in Mozambique, was brought to Japan 1579 and became a hero. Did you know this story? See, this is the promotion, official promotion from the embassy in Tokyo, Brazil embassies in Tokyo, which is trying to make it at this Yasuke was revered as a hero at this time period, which is completely ridiculous. But yeah, this is why they are worried, because and this is why it can lead to a diplomatical incident kind of a thing there, because it's official information from the embassy, and the embassies represent the official messages of the governments of the countries they are supposed to represent. So you have these kind of things that usually will not go well. And yeah, this need to be rectified. Again, one of the Minister of Foreign Affairs stated it's not possible for the Minister of Foreign Affairs to respond because it is a game-related matter. It's not nothing to do with diplomacy. Again, they're trying to avoid any kind of stuff here, but the fact that they relate this as a game-related matter. Again, the situation itself regarding the game, it's one thing, and it has nothing to do with diplomacy regarding the game, but the fact that it's overspilling to other stuff that might change official messages, for example, like happened on the embassy of Brazil. It might happen on other embassies in Japan, trying to get this story out as official historical accurate information. This is not going to work out very well for everybody involved here. And even some of the questionings, they are trying to request access to official records from the time, to put it out as an official statement from the government, says what the information that they had regarding this situation, and make it as stated. I will assume this is like an effort to try to correct all the information, for example, we have on Wikipedia, because people trust a lot on Wikipedia, and if the government there as launches official information with some documentation supporting that the refute of this Yasuki guy is like a hero in Japan. If we have this kind of messaging from the government, I will think this will be corrected, and then the activists can cry all day, but it doesn't matter. This is official information with documentation. I think it's more worth it, because the documentation that people already been having access to write about this kind of books and everything. It never says that the guy was a samurai, even less than a hero. Because at the time, for him to be considered as a hero, he had to go like Nobunaga did, which is basically through seppuku ritual, which is something that was only reserved to Japanese. Again, this guy just ran away with the tail between his legs. At the time all the incidents happened when Nobunaga was overthrown. I think Japan will try to retrieve the official historical information that they have regarding that time period, and we'll have this case closed. And I think Ubisoft is going to be fucked up this year, because this game is going to be launched around September or something like that. I don't see a good case for Ubisoft to be in the green, let's say, for this year. But yeah, this is what I got for you today, guys. I'm just going to wrap up with some gaming deals. We got Tacticon here, which is basically turn-based games, fast here. We got Classified Friends 44. This is kind of an XCOM kind of a game. Again, I've been seeing some mostly positive to mixed results. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you have to do anything with the additions there, but it seems a pretty competent game with some twists on the XCOM formula there. Again, I don't know about the setting there, but yeah, it seems relatively interesting. And it's 40% off, at least the Overlord edition. So I will leave it up to you if you like this, if you want to take a chance on this game or not. I never saw a lot of reviews for this game, but yeah, we'll see. Let me know on the comments what you think about this game. I'm pretty indecisive regarding this one. We got Pacific Drive. Again, this is one of those that I really want to try out. You got on deal the base game, and you got the bundles also with Long Dark or with Dredge there. The deluxe edition is not on sale at this moment in time. We got also Atomic Heart still on the deal, 60% off basically in all the editions. We got Art Space Shipbreaker, sorry. It's kind of a simulator on you basically dismantling ships, the most on a space station there. Seemed pretty interesting, very positive reviews since he came out, and again 60% off. I think it's a good price to jump in. Got also No Man's Sky again continues on the sale here. Got the Worlds Part 1 update, which is basically takes the version of the game to 5.0. And yeah, it seems to be spectacular. They've been ramping up from 78% to 92%. Everybody is enjoying this game now more than ever. Even from just seeing the videos and everything, I think this is looks what it Starfield wanted to be to a certain degree. We got also Red Dead Redemption 2. It's 67% off on the base version of the game, and then we finally have Midnight Suns 75% off. Again, I when I introduce this, I will introduce just the base game, given that I managed to claim it for free on Epic Game Store a few weeks ago. Let's see how it goes if I can introduce this series next week. But yeah, I cannot promise anything at this moment in time, but it's the next game that I will be introducing on the gameplay series there. But yeah, this is what I got. I will wrap up with a plug on my Patreon as usual for extra support. Again, the extra support is at this moment in time for me to focus on the storage solution, for me to be able to get backups of stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.